This is Suzy Menkes in London at the shows for summer 2013. Energy, colour, pattern, these are all the things we're seeing on the London runways. And what's exciting here is the way that the prints are done with digital work and with all sorts of modern techniques.
This is a happy collection, right?
A very happy collection, yeah. The whole thing's based on a kind of sun-kissed pastel palette. The woman's quite carefree, laid back, pretty nonchalant.
What we're seeing is a designer like Holly Fulton putting out a familiar story, roses, going down to California onto Mexico, but making this seem so different because of digital enhancement, because of the fabric she's using, putting things on plastic rather than cotton and silk. And that is what makes London different, this experimental attitude.
Let me see. That's really nice.
Henry Holland had a front row with all London's it girls. And what they're looking for here are things that are quite English, things like checks, patterns, but done in such a way that they seem slightly funky and fun.
This season I took it really feminine on the feminine side with the lace fronts and the lace trims edging. Then the tie-dye toughened it up again on the silks, and then with the tailoring it had the oversized shadow check, which was, you know, quite graphic and quite tough.
Daniela Halal at Issa has lived in England for so long that you'd think she might have caught the grey skies, but her Brazilian origin comes out.
The idea totally got it, because it was like to create a woman that was a goddess, like very exotic, a bit like wild.
She has that sensual vibe that you get from Brazil when there might not be any pattern, but the clothes fit and caress the body. The other side of British talent is caring about the environment. You really are doing remade clothes, taking things from the military and doing them in such a sophisticated way. Tell us about that.
The whole kind of essence of my label really is this idea of remade in England. Just some examples for this season are things like our 1950s silk escape mats, where we've actually then taken the original mats and then completely reworked them into the dresses.
Christopher Rayburn is exceptional because although he's making clothes from recycled fabrics, they're young, they're fresh, they're modern, they're sporty and they're interesting. Marius Schwab started his collection thinking about bees and the fact that they are endangered.
I accidentally came across to this article about vanishing bees, and kind of like I always loved bees. They are kind of almost femme fatales.
He was also inspired by ancient Greek clothes, the pleats and the lines, and all sorts of things seemed to come tumbling into his head.
I thought the natural progression is to put a hard edge, like leather that reminds Madame Grey, but kind of also a little bit more tribal in the way that it's presented.
London has always been strong on sustainability. Aesthetica is a movement where they try and do upcycling, meaning that instead of recycling, the clothes are upscale. They look like anything but the typical sustainable clothes.
It's challenging because you're working within limits. You're working with something that's already there. You're not saying, oh, here I am, I'm going to need, 200 meters of pink or 200 meters of green. You're saying, I've got 200 meters of pink, or I've got a small swatch of fabric. What do I do with that?
Print, colour, new shapes are all giving the feeling that London is on a fashion roll.